All set up here. Trying to find the best angle for you. I'm burning out some old oleanders I don't want. Getting rid of them. Hope you all can see okay. Let me switch to, I got my tripod here, and I've got it kind of precariously set up. Let me try this. There we go. That might be a little bit better for you. I'm trying not to have this thing fall all over the place. There we go. It's not a bad windy day here. That's why I said, I'm going to come burn this thing out. Burns pretty fast because it's dead, it's dry, and thankfully it's not too windy. I've got a little bit of a wind, but nothing like what I've been. That's why I couldn't burn anything before, was because it was just way too windy. This thing would get out of control. How are you all doing today? I just got done watching the What the Hails video about Grudge Judge, and he did a great job explaining why the judge is just out of control. Sorry, I'll keep looking over my shoulder because I want to make sure that I don't get a lot of ash up. We don't want to start a fire out here in the desert. It does happen. So yeah, I'm burning this oleander out, and then I got a couple more down over here. I'm taking all this out and I'm putting fruit trees in. So I've already got apricots and peaches, and I've got a Meyer lemon that gets a little bit bigger. I'll move that out here, but I'm gonna set up all my water to naturally flow this way. And these oleanders were in my way, and they were already dead. So getting them out of here, and yeah, gonna burn up this stump. But yeah, Jeremy did a great job explaining why the judge is just out of control. Like, whew, like that judge is doing things that he shouldn't as a judge. Hold on, I'm gonna throw a couple more sticks on here. This stuff burns hot. It's hot. So good thing about that is it goes up fast. So as long as you don't let it get too high, it should be okay. But I do have, don't worry, I've got water. I've got a hose right over here. So if this thing starts getting a little bit out of control, I can very quickly run over and get water source on it. But yeah, Judge DeThomasis, that was a good video. He did a great job highlighting just where the judge went wrong. Things that we've been talking about for weeks, but it brings it back home when he does the video there showing, where exactly in his questioning. I mean, the questioning itself was inappropriate, but where that questioning really goes off the rails in terms of what a judge is there to do and not do. This thing, this thing burned right up. This one, this close tree to me, that's an apricot. And I've already got some apricots going, so that'll be nice for later on this year. And then my peach tree, that's doing real well. Just put those in, keeping them nice and watered. But we've been getting lots of water, so this has been the rainiest year I think I've ever had here. Has not been a problem. I'm just making sure this thing burns nice. I want to get this out of here. Burning the stump is always the easiest way. And with these oleanders, there's so many There's so many little sprouts. I've got one on the other side that that one I'm gonna keep, but I'm gonna take it way down. It's got a lot of dead stuff on it, so I'm gonna take it way down. And then I got a couple mesquite trees I gotta take down in the back. I got one of those desert willows. I'll be taking that up, chopping all of it down. I'm gonna keep it all, but clean it all up, make it look real good because we're coming into snake season, and I don't want snakes hanging around here. I've got my animals. I don't want to deal with rattlesnakes. Gopher snakes, I'll take. I'll take gopher snakes. But my cat, I had one that got in the house a couple years back, and the cat, it was like my first or second week with the cat, and he killed it right away. Cat's a hunter. He can stay a hunter. Uh, yeah, this thing is it's gonna burn up real nice. Hey, Rescue Residence is here. Make sure you're all going to his channel. He's building a community for disabled veterans out here, and as much as you can support him, he does auctions and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't do snakes. I am not a snake fan. Uh, yeah, I had a girl that I went on a couple dates with, and I found out she had snakes, and I was like, sorry, that's a make or break for me. I don't do snakes. Uh, I don't get people with trying to keep weird animals. Just not for me. Not not my personality. Uh, Now outdoors, if I get to the point, I might build a coop and get some chickens because I like fresh eggs. I might do that. Um, but yeah, some of this stuff will be good to get out of here. Get it all burned up and gone. That's finally this place is yeah, nope ropes exactly. Uh, I've been working at getting the property cleared off and things further and further from the house and my shed and whatnot. So it's coming along. But did you all watch Jeremy Hales's video today about Grudge Judge down there in Florida? That's just because you're a judge doesn't make you all powerful. You got rules you got to follow. That I'm hearing good things. I know some of you saw about a week and a half. I did a video about some corruption that's happening down in Biloxi, Mississippi, where they're trying to stop a black man from owning a casino. I have talked to the lawyer who I initially talked to. It sounds like the bill is going to be killed, so it looks like that will be averted. So hopefully that does happen. Good news. Um, it's from what he was talking to me, it sounded like the people who were on board supporting the bill were only doing it because several of the big casinos, and I know I'm not trying to diss anybody. I know that Harris has a casino down there, um, but I do know that the people who had said no. Of the other casinos, the other lawmakers were jumping on for that. But when they found out what the situation was and who was going to be protesting, from my understanding, they're starting to back off, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. When people find out that it's potentially racism, they back off because we should not be putting up with institutional discrimination at any point. So that's good to hear. So I'm happy to give a good report. I'm still going to keep monitoring it though. There's there's several of these stories that I mean I've been following what the Hales for over a year now, and I talked about it a little bit in May, but I really didn't do a lot of stuff with it until you know just a couple months ago, when it was clear that Jeremy was saying, "Hey, I need help in this fight." Um, yeah, the federal court denied for her to get a public defender. Yes, yes, it's a civil action. I still laugh that they did that. It's a civil action in federal court, and they were asking for an attorney to be assigned, which is just ridiculous. Look at that thing; it's almost gone. Um, yeah, that's ridiculous. So glad to hear that the judge. But I did notice this: he denied without prejudice, meaning they can bring it back later. So make sure you got to pay attention to these things because even though it's a sound decision. Um, there are things that she could do to try to uh yeah, he goes on live with his friends tonight at 9, but I believe that's for members only. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know, unless if that's the AA show, but which, go check it out. They're normally pretty entertaining. I've watched a couple of the AA show. I am not a member of Jeremy's channel. uh like I don't have a paid membership, so I don't watch any of the membership videos, but that's okay. I support him with the okay, AA show. Um, I support him with the videos that he puts out there to the public. So I think he's a good person doing good things, and I'll support people doing good things. I'll also fight corruption. When I saw the town doing its corruption, I did some YouTube shorts on it back in May. And yeah, when it became clear that this judge is out of control, I jumped on with that, and I did send off our letter. So for those of you who've been watching, the petition is still out there. We've kind of stalled. We're at about 4736 signatures. So make sure you share that petition out. Send it to anyone who hates corruption, hates judges who don't respect the Constitution. But we've got some pretty good amount of signatures. I'm very happy. I was hoping for 2,000. I was going to do the letter if I got 2,000, and we doubled that, and we're just shy of 5,000. So keep sharing that out. If we can get as many signatures on that, I did send my letter to Governor DeSantis, telling him this is an appointed judge that you appointed. You have the ability to have him removed. And we, the undersigned, want this judge removed. Obviously, and people have pointed some things out. The language in the petition is a little bit more emotional, and that was for a reason. When you are trying to get people to sign a petition, you will be a little bit emotional because you want to appeal to people's emotions. And but the letter that went to the governor's office. Hey, Leanie, welcome. Uh, the letter that went to the governor's office is very professional, very, very to the point. I think we did cover everything. I understand some people are happy I didn't get into the weeds with some of the stuff, but I really wanted it to be one page. It's definitely one page. I made sure that I've got the footnote and the footer. I did adjust some of the margins, so that way we could all get it on one page, because really what it comes down to is a staffer has to read that. And when you understand this is how government works, like, the governor is not going to see that letter. His staff will see that letter. Hopefully it gets to the chief of staff. That's the goal. You want it to get to the governor's chief of staff, or to one of his directors. And once it gets there is where we'll see action. So I don't know if they officially respond to him. I if they do, great. If not, that's fine. Um, Letter is great and to the point. Yeah, and that's for a cover letter. That's exactly what you want. You want it, as we say in the military. Be be brilliant. Be brief. Be bold. Be gone. So that's the goal of it. So I think we definitely were that. I definitely want to give a shout out to all the people who helped, all the people who gave comments. We did look at every single comment, and we did talk about every single comment. So if you gave a suggestion, we didn't use it, it's not because it wasn't good. I don't want to say that. They were all great. They were all great, and it was very clear. A lot of you are really do care about this issue. So with so much on the line about the judge, it has to be noticed now. Well, it's going there. It is going there, and it's if you make it too long, they do get buried because it takes that staffer. They zone out. One page, boom, 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 5 paragraphs. I think it's 5 or 6 paragraphs. Very easy. That's where me as a journalist, we write at best an 8th grade level, really more like a 4th grade level. Um, but that's where being a journalist comes handy, because we write in the language that people speak, and most people don't speak in a high and lofty tone. When people do these letters, they try to color it up with professional language, and like kind of how the judge does, where he's got a very big sense of his own ego, where he'll, we can get this anywhere on the planet with force, and uh ignored. I got a dirt bike rider going around here. Uh, Mr. Feather, not that he lied to the court, misrepresented to the court. He's using all this lofty language that it's like, okay, you're a smart guy, we get it. One thing I notice about the judge, and let me see if you all notice this. Judge DeSantis or DeThomasis, he's been a professor, so he's used to talking down to people. And I've noticed that throughout all of this, when he's been dealing with Jeremy Hales and Attorney Feather and Attorney Shockett, he likes to talk down to them to make sure that they know he knows more than them. It's very much he's the professor and everyone else is the student type of relationship. Have you all caught that? That's what I take from it. I noticed that very early on. I was like, wow, this guy really likes the sound of his own voice. And that's, to me, that's where I see it comes from, is from him just wanting to stick his chest out. It's funny because I used to deal with this with Marines. With Marines, we're a very active, aggressive bunch. I don't think the judge in Ohio ever said in one of his lectures, right? Right? Totally different from one who keeps control of their courtroom and one who doesn't, one who tries, really doesn't say much. In fact, she was very to the point, whereas Judge DeThomasis talks and, like, oh my God, when he goes through, you know, when he just feels the need to recap everything from the previous hearings. It's like everybody in the courtroom was there. You're not bringing anybody up to speed. I don't get it. I've never seen a judge do that. It's so weird. Um, but yeah, he's got this need. I'm gonna throw some more sticks on the fire real quick. When I cut down this oleander, I got all these little sticks that were all knocked around, strewn about. So I'm using this opportunity to burn out this stump and clean up my yard a bit. There we go. Keep that nice and hot, get that stump out of there. We were told that students tried to avoid him and his lectures. He's also speaking in a very boring voice that is droll and humdrum. Yeah, like doing this, I have to get used to speaking to a camera. I know it's telling me right now that there's all told 42 of you out right now watching live, but I can't see you. And other than the comments, I don't get much feedback from you. It is very hard to be entertaining. It's very hard to be, I'm trying to think, like, not exciting, but just hold your attention. It's really hard. And with students, it's just as hard. So I understand, that's he feels that need to talk and talk and talk, um, because he was probably getting nothing back from his students. But in a courtroom, that's completely not needed. That, in fact, it's the opposite. It goes against everything you're trying to do. So, that's where, from day one, that's where the problems I saw with with his courtroom and the court decorum is, yeah, that he just wanted to, you're truthful and compassionate. Yeah, I try to be. I really do. Uh, One thing I found that served me very well in the military, and people get shocked about this, because I was an officer, um, is empathy. I think a lot of that comes because I was enlisted and I had been on that other side and I got the really bad jobs. But Empathy will get you incredibly far, especially when you're relying on people to trust you. And that's one thing when I started working, after the military in the civilian world, that's where I saw that if there was ever any type of leadership failure, it was in empathy. People just saw their little piece of the pie and assumed nothing else. And the military taught me very well that, oh, there's so much more. If you have to wait on a Saturday night to see if a Marine is in jail for DUI or beating somebody up, you then start worrying about, okay, what's the other stuff going on? Imagine how much money he wasted as lawyer fees for Jeremy, thousands. Yeah, yeah, he did. And it's sad because even if judges do get held accountable for things, they never have to put up that money. Uh, I'm just going to check this out here. I'm trying to keep this hot. There we go. Trying to keep that hot so that the oxygen can get to it, and it keeps it nice and hot because it'll snuff itself out. But if you keep it hot, it'll burn all the way down to all the stuff down below here. So you want that oxygen to get down there. Whew, there we go. That is warm. Whew. Glad you could all join me in this. We get a campfire today. I'm actually I am going to be working on my fire pit this weekend. Maybe I'll do some live streams if y'all want to join on that. With the fire now, you can make s'mores. I do have stuff inside for s'mores, and for anyone internationally watching, there's one thing you're missing out on, and it's s'mores. Americans know s'mores, and you need to learn what they are because they are amazing. But yeah, I'm going to be building a fire pit this weekend. I'm going to be working on my shed, and I'm going to get some concrete and mortar mix, and I'm going to build a fire pit. And the same thing. I'm going to try to, keep the bottom with some places for the oxygen to get in, so then it burns hot. But that also means less smoke, and it also means, like the more the hotter it is, the less ash you get, and like the stuff that I'm getting right now, you get less of it. Um, yeah, so I'm just keeping an eye on it. It's burning pretty good. So uh, you can see I've got one there and another one down there. So I'll just slowly be burning these up whenever the wind doesn't want to disagree with me. It's picking up a little bit now, but I mean, even right now, it's only just little gusts. But you don't want to do this when you've had the wind that we've been having. It's been, oof, we've had some crazy, crazy nights of wind. Um, but yeah, maybe I'll do a live stream as I'm building that. I used to work for my uncle, who was a mason, and I learned masonry skills from him. So know how to mix up all the stuff. We'll see. I haven't done it in 20 years, so we'll see how good I am. I've only done little patch jobs and little stuff. So, um, but that's the thing about me getting this place. You work at it, you make your mistakes and fix them. Um, but definitely rewarding when you do it and you do it right, and you can do it the way you want it and don't have to. You're not beholden to someone else's vision. Uh, but yeah, so hopefully, I don't. We've had high winds and the temps back in the 30s at night. Whew. Yeah, it actually warmed up. I think today. I know yesterday it was 78. But I was in the car. If you watched my live streams yesterday, I was in the car for over 4 hours yesterday. Um, I had to go down to Loma Linda and deal with my VA hospital down there. Oh, you had a snowstorm. Where are you in Michigan, Star? Um, But yeah, I had to deal with the VA down in Loma Linda, and oh my God, just the stupidity. But you know, I'll I will take that. Did I get my glasses? No, I have an appointment. I have to go back down there. That's what's so frustrating about it. It's something simple. It's glasses. Ontario, Canada. Okay, okay. I've been to Windsor, Canada, so not too far from you. Right across from Detroit there. We used to go there to the casino when we were 18 because back then Americans could cross, and at 18 you could drink. So we used to go gamble. We'd go to the casino, gamble, and then go to the clubs and be feeling pretty good before we decided to head back across the Ambassador Bridge there. Um, but yeah, the um, I've got to go back down there and just put up with the stupidity again. But I've got my formal complaint in, so you know, hopefully with you all, if you bring attention to the videos, if any other veterans, if you're having bad experiences, send me, you know, do a video, do an audio, send it to me. I'll get it out there because the only way we can enact change is by working together. And I'm all on board. I'll highlight your stories. Um, every day I get a veteran talking to me about some problem that they've had with the VA. And my brother's in Leamington near Windsor. I'm near Toronto. Okay, very nice, very nice. Yeah, the VA talks a big game, but at the end of the day, they're bureaucrats. Bureaucrats are never on your side. So, and as long as it remains this big bloated bureaucracy, we'll never have adequate care or benefits. So that's what we need to keep fighting for. And oh, you just arrived. Hey, it's Eric. Make sure you go and subscribe to Eric's channel. You see where it says KD7LTN? That's his channel name. It's also his ham radio call sign. So if you got a ham radio, you can reach out to him. Uh, I need to get into that. You know, I need to learn one more thing. Like I need a hole in my head. I'm gonna be working on my masonry skills this weekend. I'm burning out. I'm trying not to kill my new trees. Um, I've had some people ask me about coming out here to stay at Joshua Tree, and I'm like, well, you better hurry because the season's going to be coming up here. About the time it hits May, it'll start getting too warm. Now, this is unseasonably cool. Like I said, it was 78 yesterday. I think it was in the upper 70s today. And this is the coolest and rainiest year I think I've had out here. And I've been here off and on since 2008. I did do a couple deployments, and then I lived down in Desert Hot Springs for a bit. I think that's my cat. I kept hearing a noise and it sounded like my cat. You should be able to see me out of the window right there. But yeah, so people coming out here, you better hurry. If not, put it off until late September, October, November. That's when it'll get really nice. The warm weather, it gets hot out here. Very hot. Hot, hot, hot. I had family first couple years. They're like, "Yeah, we're coming out in June." I'm like, "Why would you ever want to do that?" And then they came out here and they're like, "How can you live here?" And I'm like, "This is only 4 or 5 months out of the year. The rest of the time, it's pretty nice. I don't have to deal with a foot of snow, whereas you guys do. But yeah, don't come in June. Don't come in July. Don't come in August. Are you crazy? But come out here in the spring and summer months. The winter, I mean, it stays in the 50s, but it gets cold at night. Um, but oh, excuse me. Whoever lived here before me liked to throw all of their beer bottles around. So I've been picking up so much glass and just chucking it off my property. I got fields that way, fields that way, fields that way. I'm all about cleaning up this lot. That's what I'm doing. Let me move this around a little bit. There we go. You come back in here. That's a nice hot pole. There you go. Breathe. Get the rock out of here. Get the rock out. There we go. Whew. There we go. Smoky, smoky. Yeah, I got to take down some of these mesquite trees and then do some barbecue after I get the fire pit built. Snowing, expecting almost 2 inches of it. This is April, and we want flowers. You know, a friend of mine, he joined the Marine Corps after having spent years in the Royal Canadian Artillery, and we were talking. He was showing me pictures of his training and whatnot, and he showed me some pictures, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a nice Ontario June out in the field," and yeah, there was snow on the ground all the way in June, which that's not too crazy because I got the mountains almost right behind the camera, a little bit off, and oh my God, that is the cat. I can hear you, Kang. He can hear me, so he's gonna be in there crying. But yeah, the snow, it is the tops of the mountains over here. They're completely white, uh, which good for the people up there because they rely on the ski season, and they had some lean years the last decade. So hopefully this gets them out of their financial slump. Am I gonna grow any crops there? Okay, so I've got some tomatoes inside that I'm growing. Um, I've naturally always kind of had a green thumb, even though I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm the first to admit, like, I have no clue what I'm doing. But I will grow some stuff. I do know out here in the desert, like this soil here is actually not bad soil. You add, you add, sorry about that. I was getting a call. Am I frozen? Let's see. Am I frozen? Can you all see me? Hopefully you can hear me. It looks like I'm frozen. We all good? Someone just give me a comment. Make sure that you all still have me. No, you don't got me? Okay, I'm back. All right. Good. Yeah, I had someone call. I always forget to put this on do not disturb whenever I'm using my phone. Um, but yeah, I get uh you know, I do know out here we have good soil. So if you add water to it, you can grow stuff. So pretty much what I got to put gutters on my house, and I'm gonna make sure I route all the water to where it comes into this little ditch that I got here. And I am kind of on a floodplain. All the water runs this way and then down the hill. So I'm gonna have it all just to kind of where like it it just kind of gets funneled and kind of pills up here for a little bit, because that will keep all this looking good. And then obviously when I wash my car and stuff, the water is going to come down this way and end up right there where all my plants are. The one thing I do need to do is I need to reroute because where my washer is, that's all gray water that comes out of there. And they right now have it set up for the septic tank. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. It fills up the septic tank, which is not needed. So, it's going to make my leach field, take longer to get all the water out. So if I can reroute the gray water to where it comes down here, these will all do fine with that gray water. And that, for a lot of people out here in the desert, if you really manage your water resources, you can do quite well out here with growing stuff. Sorry, I got a dirt bike out here. I like watching the dirt bikes. But Yeah, so if you manage your water resources, you'll do just fine. There are people out here who collect rain. I'm not to that point yet. I don't think I need to. But we get really clean water here, and it's very affordable, very affordable. So even when I do need to water, I'm not that worried about it. And I I'm planning on putting a hot tub in at this place as well. So I've got my short and long term plans. So but managing my water resources are definitely one of them. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can switch this around. Um, to where. There we go. All right, now I can see myself because for the longest time I didn't know if I was. It was all still frozen for me, so I didn't know if I was in camera or not. Uh, Let me stoke. Well, actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some more wood for this fire. What do I do with my broken laundry baskets? I use them for kindling. Ah. One thing I've got no lack of out here is kindling. Keep that nice and hot. That's the goal. Yep. Late dinner. Thanks for the update. Okay. Well, you have a good night, and God bless you and your family. Um, yeah. Get these oleander stumps. I'm not a fan of oleanders. Snakes love them, so that's another reason I don't want them. My dad does the same. He just burns the twigs and old things we don't need or are broken. Yeah, yeah. That's you know, no need to try to do anything crazy. You know, just use what you got. Use what's around you. So that's I don't want this thing to burn too long. You see the wind is picking up, but I'm glad I got to come out here today and at least get one of these out of here. Uh, I like I said, I got three more. I forgot there's two in the middle there, but yeah, uh, I got to find me a good citrus tree. Um, 'Cause, yeah, I want to put a citrus tree in here other than my Meyer lemon. That so that's only about 3 foot tall, and I don't want to put that in here yet. I want to get a little bit taller because we get a lot of the desert rabbits out here. They love going to town on that thing. They I planted it last year and they ate it bare, so I uprooted it and put it in my house, and I hoped it would come back, and sure enough, it did come back. So happy about that. But yeah, the animals were like, "Hey, thanks for the lemons." So I didn't get lemons last year. I had a couple growing, and then they ate them right off. Um, and I also had a neighbor cut off several of my sprouts too. And that made me a little bit angry because I was gonna once I got lemons, I was gonna, I'm not a big lemon guy. I just liked growing them, and I was gonna give them to my neighbors. And I was like, if you had they asked, I would have said, sure, take a couple, just leave the rest. But they really, yeah, and I know it was because I know it was a neighbor because when it's the animals, you could see the teeth marks where they were eating at it. But when it's the neighbor, it was a clean cut, or where they messed up, and you could see right where the shears went in. And yeah, I get it. You want to grow your own lemons too. But yeah, I was gonna share with everybody. Uh, but yeah, so you guys can kind of see a little bit of my property here. I'm actually probably gonna, if I end up good with my masonry skills, I'm definitely gonna put a gate down here at the end, and I'll do that with some stone pillars, and I have an idea of a fence I might a stone wall I might be making. I am not gonna use the what's the term? I'm not going to make the stone wall where they put the chicken wire around it. I forget the name, but it's a specific type of one that a lot of people do out here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually use mortar, and I'm going to make it a solid wall. The one thing I do have to be concerned about doing that is the water. I don't want to reroute the natural flow of water too much, because that could cause flooding on my property. And so I might have to, make sure I've got some good ways for drainage to get off my property. So I will be looking at doing that. Growing lemons is hard. Glad your tree grew back. Yeah, it came back strong. I did some work on it this morning. I was pruning it. I'm waiting to fertilize it some more. I fertilized it last month, and from what I was seeing, every 4 to 8 weeks you want to fertilize it. So I'll fertilize it again in like a week or two. But it came back. I mean, they just took it down to the stem, but I was still getting green stuff growing off it. It just wasn't coming out. So um, that was the downside. Um, yeah, this thing it's going pretty well. Uh, I do want this to burn down uh, quite a bit. And the other thing, a lot of people, they worry out here when you do a fire like this, and they always want you to pour water on it. Um, it's actually better to use sand that we have all over. It doesn't burn. I remember several years ago, I always keep a $15 fire extinguisher in my car, right underneath the driver's side seat. And my years in safety with the military, taught me it's cheaper to pay $15 than thousands to, if you ever end up on the side of the road, if you have a problem. And there was one day where I was driving, and I came across this vehicle. Yep, yep, sand is definitely better. Uh, but yeah, I came across this car, and it was at night, and I could see lights on inside, and it looked like there was movement. But as I got closer, I could tell there was a fire in the car. It was most likely a car that had been stolen, and whoever ditched it just threw a match and took off. Um, but I didn't know if there was anyone in it. So I pulled over, another car pulled over as I did, but I grabbed my fire extinguisher, and uh, luckily it was not locked. I didn't have to bash anything, but I couldn't, it was so full of smoke, I couldn't tell if there was anyone in there. So we used the fire extinguisher to get the fire down to a manageable level. And once we got it down, my fire extinguisher actually ran out, and it was down low. The fire was down low, but it was starting to come back up. And the gentleman who was helping me, he was like feeling in the back seat, trying to see if he could feel anyone in the vehicle. And uh, he was like, "What are we gonna do?" when the fire extinguisher ran out, and I was like, sand. And I just got down on my knees. I started scooping sand and just throwing it into the car, because even with it in the air, it's going to eat up a lot of that oxygen. And it just helps snuff it out. I gotta stoke this a little bit, but the fire department did respond, and they asked us whose idea was it to throw sand on it. And I was like, well, that was mine. And he's like, how did you know to do that? Are you a firefighter? I was like, no, I just worked in safety for a number of years. And I knew sand is going to stop it from being able to breathe. Whew. Sorry, the smoke's coming your way. You don't have to deal with the smell of it, thankfully. These ashes are really hot, but that's a good thing, because these are going to just keep burning and burning as this thing gets smaller and smaller. And you can see, look, I got roots all the way out here for this oleander. Whew. Oh, there we go. Yeah, keep burning. Keep on burning. God Mary keeps on turning. There we go. Yeah, I'll get this thing out of here. Basic firefighter training during boot camp was a good thing to learn. They didn't give us firefighter training for us, but you were Navy. Every sailor is a fireman. Every Marine is a basic rifleman. Every sailor is a fireman. I have learned that over my years. Because, oh, for those of you who don't know, a ship can burn. Everything on a ship is flammable. That's Let me throw some more. Get that thing going. It is warm. That fire is warm. But now that's down to coals. This is when it gets the hottest, and this is when it'll really take that stump out. But yeah, as you can you might be able to see those roots. Like, they don't grow in a big stump. They just grow out like that, and then underneath they're all like that. So got to learn basic aircraft firefighting skills as well. First thing they started was how not to fight a fire because of what happened on the Forrestal. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's yeah, that thing's going. Yeah. There's a lot of people who make mistakes. It doesn't take. Larry just shared the first order out of the federal court, motion for lawyer to dismiss motion. The motion for dismissal is dismissed. I didn't read that one. Okay, that's a new one. I knew the motion for the lawyer was dismissed, but that was dismissed without prejudice, meaning they could ask later. But the lawyer, the motion for dismissal being dismissed, that's a good thing. Very good thing. Yeah, this thing's hot. But yeah, basic safety and basic firefighting, it's a good thing just to know. I know I've had discussions. My kid, he's a Boy Scout, and he learns it for that. But I've talked to him about where the fire extinguisher is located in our house. If you don't have a fire extinguisher, about $25, and if that saves you thousands of dollars, is it not worth it? That's you'd be surprised the people who won't. But for me, I'll get those few things just so I know. Um, Same thing with to know just some basic life-saving skill stuff. When I did the video of you know the military stuff that military love and use, but civilians don't. And if you want, check out that video. I did it like a month ago. Um, that when I was doing that video, I was talking with another Marine about what to include, and the three things in there I came up all on my own. But I ran him by, and he was like, "Yeah, those are some pretty good things to have." But uh, there was one that I did suggest to him, and he was like, "No." He's like, "I wouldn't throw that in there." And simply because with Marines, we'll take the time to train, we'll take the time, to at least make people basically familiar. And that was uh, there's a product out there called Quick Clot. And what it is it's quite literally clotting material, and that has saved so many battlefield lives. It's unreal. And it's a packet, and it's an expensive packet. That's the other thing. um, but what it does is in a way, it chemically cauterizes the wound. But when you have an arterial bleed, or someone bleeding severely, that will clot it up quite quickly, and allows you much more time to get that individual to the ER. And I was asking him, do you think I should throw that in there? Because that, it saved a lot of lives. And he was like, no, no, I would not tell civilians to buy that. And he goes, simply because most civilians, they'll buy this stuff and keep it and not know how to use it, rather than actually train with it. And I was like, okay, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. In with uh, Marines and oh, you made it the last. Well, welcome. Sit. Yeah, we're burning a stump here this morning. That used to be my. I used to have a row of dead oleanders here, and I cut them out several weeks ago. But now I'm going to burn out these stumps, and this will now be my new um, row of fruit. So, yeah, I'm going to plant some trees in here, fruit bearing trees. Um, and then hopefully in a year or two, I'll really start growing fruit. I do have to learn canning though, because if I'm gonna have all this fruit, like I'll give some to my neighbors, but you can't eat that much fruit, so I'm gonna have to start canning it up. So I now got to learn canning. That's You learn one thing, means you got to go learn the next thing. It's like, will I ever stop? And no, you never stop learning. But yeah, so that's one thing I'll say for civilians. If you're willing to learn and train as to how to use it, and train your family in how to use it, that's when you should add Quick Clot to your first aid kit. But if you're not willing to do the training, it literally will chemically burn you. So not a smart thing to use it if use that product if you're not going to learn how to use it. And you'd be surprised the people who don't know how to use it. Um, a Marine with a pressure cooker. I don't actually own a pressure cooker. Do I have to get one for canning? Is that a requirement? I know nothing about it. See, I'm always honest in what I don't know. It, there's people that will try to act like they know everything. I try to act like, well, I don't know about this and I don't know about this, and I'll happily talk about, because I want people to educate me. And I've learned a long time ago, um, to when you do learn the right way, so then you have good habits. Um, but yeah, so okay, so I do need a pressure cooker. Okay, uh, that will go on my list then. uh, uh, All I know about pressure cookers is if you mix them with some fertilizer, you can make a really big bang. But what was the movie about Boston? The bombing. Most people kind of know about that now. Had some step grandkids growing up that did a ton of gardening and canning. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll do some. I'm not an expert, and I don't see myself becoming an expert, but I'll do some stuff. I know I can do all this right here. Let me clear this out. What is this? Oh, that's a cloth. Let it burn that. Oh, I'm finally getting to the roots. That's a root right there that burned off. There's another one. Yeah, we're getting these things out of here. So digging this back is helping me get these. There we go. This is working out better than I ever hoped. Whew, warm. Very warm. There's a root. Or as my great grandmother used to say, a root. She was from the mountains of Pennsylvania, northern Appalachia, and she used to say, "Yeah, get it down to the root." They would say "root," and they'd also be like, "Yeah, going outside, do the worsh." Hey Ruth, welcome to the live. We're just we're burning out an old oleander, so trying to get this out of here. Trying to keep it hot. Oh, there we go. Yeah, get this out. Oh, right in my face. Right in my face. Isn't that the way it always goes? Jim Croce. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Yeah, if you're here long enough, you will have to put up with my singing. But that thing's burning up nice. I'm noticing it's burning really well down the middle. So as these things break off, I can push them off to the outside, and well, they'll still keep on burning. But the core of it is staying hot. So get that, and then I'll have a nice little divot. When burning stumps, how long do the roots tend to stay on fire underground? Um, they can stay on fire quite a long time. So with this, I don't expect it because the way the oleanders are, the roots go out like that, and the stump goes out like that. Like there's no like base of the stump really. They're just kind of all these shoots, and it does the same thing with the roots. So because of that, you get this hot enough what I hoped would happen is actually happening. They're getting so hot that they actually burn themselves off of the rest of the stump. So as I scrape it away, it's still it's a piece of charcoal then that I move away, and then it just burns up on its own. But it's so hot there that it's like it is burning down. It won't have to burn as down as other trees and whatnot because the the roots of it they go out like that, so it's kind of burning out. Uh, but the I am keeping the center as the hottest point because it's burning them off. So as I'm moving that around, I'm noticing that there's branches to it, and well, stumps and roots that have already been detached. And as I bring them out, they're just on the outskirts. Maybe I can. I don't know if you guys can see. Maybe I can find one here. Uh, yep. So here's one. Here's one, and here's one that's still going. So let me dig that one everything out around it, so it burns that off. Yeah, here's one. Ah, damn it! I had it, and I lost it. Here we go. So there's one of the roots right there. It burned off and detached. Now it's just a piece of charcoal, still burning. But I'll throw it to the edge, and it'll keep burning there. And I'm kind of just digging these out with a rock. There we go. Get those out. Good thing about oleanders, they do grow in rocky soil, but they just go right around. That one's down there. So as I dig this out, I can see the points where it hasn't burned up yet. So, but the ones that are still attached are already burning. They're already coals. So as I dig away at the bottom, they burn. Yeah, like, Here, I'll show you. Let me bring this a little bit closer. I got a good one here. So you can see this one here. It's still attached and burning down there. And you can see where it burnt right there, but that right there is still solid. So I'm digging this out so that these other ones get to it because they're looking for oxygen. So now that it's exposed to the oxygen, isn't buried in dirt, it'll burn right up. And that's the goal. Whew. There's a nail on that board. See it? Let me throw some of this, some of these little twigs and whatnot around that root right there. Get it going real good. Because you want to get it hot. Most important thing. All around it, get it hot. Let the heat do it. You don't even need a flame. If they just smolder, it'll work. Yeah, this is already working. Oh, it's over here. Hope this is interesting for y'all. So we still got people in here, so someone's enjoying it. Yeah, just knocking these coals right off. Ooh. There we go. Oh, there we go. Nice little pocket in there. Already I can feel the heat. Oh, I'm gonna have to put these. Got a little bit buried all the way out over here. That's okay. We're working on this. Rome wasn't built in a day. Huh. But I'm just glad. Oh, yeah, we're getting some flames down there. We don't really need the flames though. We're just looking for the hot coals. Whew. My hand is toasty from being down there. I should have gloves on. See, I'm a safety guy. I don't even have gloves on. What the hell? Have I really been streaming an hour? Wow, it just flew by. Oh, there we go. Yeah, all that stuff is catching. But and the nice thing is, after all this burns, what's left is normally pretty easy to get out of it. Because you get the big stuff burned up. So you might just have a couple small little roots and whatnot that you can just. A lot of times, you know, you can pull them out. But obviously the ashes also start mixing in and keep the soil uh, pretty well fertilized. You know, it helps with it. Um, I also will sometimes do things like when I clean up the dog's waste. I If I'm doing an area like this, I'll toss it in there just so that you know, the soil gets other stuff in it. Um, I've got a little bit of compost around those trees when I put them in. Uh, you know, that helps a little bit. Um, you know, just a little bit of each thing. With these trees, I don't have to do too much. I just have to keep their ground moist for like the next month. Uh, Step on that nail. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it's burning all around that root that was unburned. Oh, lost y'all. Stand by. Here we are. Whew. Wind took it. So yeah, you can see right down in there was where that root is. You can see the burnt end of it, and everything around it now is burning. So, and you can see all these roots over here, they're all pretty much charcoal and ash. So it's down at the very base of it, and it's now eating itself from the inside. So that's why I always prefer to just burn out a stump instead of trying to dig it out. This is way easier, less heartache, just a little bit warm. Didn't like my flamethrower comment. I didn't see the flamethrower comment. Hold on, let me go through and look. Sorry. Uh Keep away from Boston Marathon. I sorry, I didn't see that. Uh I'm not seeing the flamethrower comment, so I apologize. I don't see it. Maybe maybe YouTube didn't like it. Sorry, I gotta clean up my screen here. Maybe YouTube didn't like it and they censored you. I don't care. I don't care what people say on here as long as you're not uh posting, you know, uh stuff that hurt anybody. Uh but yeah, so this thing's it's pretty well it's going. I know it looks like white ash, but that's all hot coals down in there. And yeah, it's now doing its job. But these ones over here, there's I got to dig those out next. So those haven't burned up as this little section right here. Same thing. I got a couple down in there, but the center ones, and you can see those were roots that I was able to pull out. So yeah, they're coming. They're coming, looking pretty good too. But I always prefer to do this rather than digging out a stump, especially with an oleander. Man, just cutting this thing with the uh, cutting it up with the chainsaw. Oh, that was a pain. Yeah, see, here's a couple of roots right there. Look, see how easy that one came out? Got a rock there. That one came out really easy, and it's already burning itself up. But yeah, you got to dig these a little bit so that the dirt doesn't put it out. Like here's one, but these are going to be easier to get out. You can see how that burned. So as I dig these out, there's more oxygen that's getting to it, and it's just going to feed that heat, and it's all going to come out. Whew. It is warm. That's the thing. Deal with these coals. They get so hot. Oh, that's a rock right there. Yeah, these ones are going to be the challenge here. There's a root right there that didn't fully burn up. Dig this out a bit. And now, for the most part, I will cover this up with sand and we'll put it out. But tomorrow when I come back, I guarantee you this stump will be so easy to pull out. Oh, it's hot. I said you should get a thrower of flames and then the camera. I would love to have a flamethrower. They are legal. They are legal to buy. I don't know if California would. There's a rock right here that's getting in the way. I don't know if California would appreciate it, but they are legal to own. Yeah, there we go. Get all this dirt out of there. See those roots? They will all burn. Burn it all. Because I had a grandfather who was a firefighter. Backdraft was one of our family's favorite movies growing up. We would watch that a lot. Yeah, see how that burned it up? Now digging this away again so the air gets to it and it'll just keep eating itself from the inside. Whew. Yeah, look at this. That's all. Oh, get that out there. Oh, hot. So hot. And then you give it this oxygen. What time is it where you are? It's 6:42 here. I usually miss your lives as the first thing in the morning for. Yeah, I do the coffee ones, but every once in a while I'll do the night ones. And sometimes if I'm up late, I'll do some late night ones. I wish I would have known about this. Because I really didn't. I had this channel years ago, but I really wasn't doing anything with it. Um, and I wish I would have because I was battling insomnia for years. And you can see I'm digging out these roots right here. And this would have been great for insomnia, just having someone to talk to in the middle of the night. Even though I don't get much feedback from you guys other than, I get your comments, but I don't get, it's not like having a back and forth. Oh, it's 8:43 there. Okay. So you're in the central time zone? But yeah, this is actually a YouTube channel could be good. I could see where it'd be very helpful for someone battling insomnia because, the worst part about insomnia is just no one to talk to. I used to go up to the casino. Oh, there's a rock again. Get that out of there. I used to go up to the casino not because I like to gamble. I was just bored. No one to talk to in the middle of the night. There we go. Yeah, see, that one's not burned up yet. So we'll get some of this stuff, put it on that one. I'll burn it up pretty good. I can't see them. There's houses over there, so I can't see the dirt bikes. Show them to you. Yeah, look at that. So there, we'll put these coals down there on that guy and get him going. And there's a couple in here that are still solid. But we're getting a couple out. Ooh, look at that. So yeah, we'll get these on that one. And he'll start burning up. Ooh, ooh. I gotta back away. Discord servers are handy for chatting it up without having to go live stream. I do. So I don't run my own Discord server. I am on Discord. I do go into a couple people's servers. There's some military gamers that brought me into theirs, and I'm not the world's biggest gamer. Obviously, I've got kids, so my son likes to game. So, I like to be informed and know what's going on because I like being an involved parent. So I do go in just to kind of figure out what people are doing, and it's a good way for me to to be able to have some common ground with my son and talk about stuff. So we talk about gaming a lot. Yeah, Discord's not just for gamers. Uh, it's not. There's a lot of people who do some good stuff on there. I was actually in one of the places that I used to write for. Uh, they did everything in a Discord server, and Discord. I'll tell you, it's a really handy platform. Um, there's things you can do in Discord that you've been able to do for years that the other social media places are just now starting to get caught up on. Uh, uh, so yeah, like phone calls. Twitter. You can now do phone calls on Twitter, but you've been able to do phone calls on Discord for some time. Ah, get some of this stuff out of here. You can see. Whew, that is hot. Hot, hot, hot. You get this hot stuff, these hot coals around that one that's not yet burned, and it'll eat away at it. Whew. But yeah, that I can already see where this stump it's already getting down there, and I'll be able to yank this out whether I do it tomorrow in the morning or this weekend. I don't know yet. Don't know what my weekend's gonna hold. I don't have any plans. Uh, let's see. Yeah, see how that one how it's breaking apart because it's burning from the inside. There we go. Whew. I'm not too worried about these ones on the edge because when I go to pull this all out, they won't give me much resistance. They're not as deeply in there or as, not as thick as what these ones in the center were. Uh, they're burning. They're definitely burning, but they won't be the hindrance that a lot of these center ones are. Oh yeah, there we go. Get to that. Get to that base right there. That'll really start burning up that little cavity in there. That heat, that'll start eating that away. Maybe I'll do the same thing here. Yeah, there we go. Get these cavities and the oxygen gets in there and just heats it right up. There's a piece that can burn. And that's how you do this. I wish I knew. I did this at my dad's house uh, some time back, and I can't remember what type of tree, but it was definitely a hardwood because I mean that stump burned and burned and burned and burned. We were burning that thing for a couple days, and it would, we'd get it going, pull stuff away from it. It would start burning, then it would smolder, and the next day we'd come out and do the same thing again. And yeah, that took us a while to burn it up, and then we had to fill it in, and he had a flat patch, but he was able to get grass finally grown in that little patch. Uh, yeah, get all this out of there. I should be doing this with a shovel, but that's okay. I'd have to use two hands with a shovel. I'd have to drop the foam. But yeah, this thing, like this won't be a big problem. But if I can get this all burned out, which it's definitely way smaller than when I started. Yeah, that'll all just start. And you can see in there, see how we dug that out? It's starting to get white from the ash already. So it's hot down there. And just eating away at itself. Discord is great for the anti-Facebookers, anti-Twitters. Yeah, it is. I don't like Facebook. I'm on Facebook to keep in touch with friends and family and Marines. But I'm not a fan of it. I've never liked it. I liked MySpace way better. I thought MySpace was so much fun. But then they started limiting MySpace when it got sold, and I didn't like the limits. I loved the freedom of it, how you could, do all the stuff you wanted to. Um, I do enjoy Twitter, even though Twitter, I can recognize that Twitter is an absolute cesspool, but that's also what I like about it. Um, Twitter started becoming a problem when they started limiting everybody on it about what you could say and what you could do. And, you know, they would look at, or the mention of locals. I actually like locals too. I think, um, uh, I think locals is the only thing that could potentially replace Twitter. The fact that it's integrated with Rumble, I think, is smart. But Elon Musk buying Twitter, he is trying to turn Twitter into a video platform to compete with YouTube, much like how Rumble and locals are um, are linked in that same way. So I think that's a smart thing to do. I'm gonna put some more wood on this, some fresh wood on this, because it's hot, but we want to keep it real hot. So yeah, I'm throwing this small stuff and let me get some of this. Some of these. Because yeah, these will get these out of here. We'll get it nice and hot. Oh, grabbed a piece that was really hot. Whew. Luckily, it only caught the outside of my finger. Hold on, I'm trying to. I was mentioning their integration together at the same comment and wouldn't go through. Yeah. YouTube is YouTube with its restrictions. They're only hurting themselves, because as they get more restrictive, other platforms are getting easier to work with. And a lot of that, believe it or not, is because of TikTok. The popularity of TikTok. TikTok was, for the last couple years there, the freest platform you could use. Like, there were some things that wasn't allowed on there, but it they they really tried to make it a good user experience. Um, and I didn't want to start a TikTok. I've got enough social media, and I said I need more social media. Like, I need a hole in my head. I have a hard time keeping up with what I got. But yeah, Twitter is absolutely trying to make a play for that. The one that I have, and it's going to be a day very soon that I get rid of, is Snapchat. I barely use that thing. Uh, yeah, it's just not a good platform. Um, I, Pretty much the people on Snapchat, if you love Snapchat, it's because you only love Snapchat. I don't see that. I don't see that as having much of a future. A side note: I have sort of an update on my VA issue. That is a catch-22. Um, I'll tell you what. Film. What you should do here. Let's do it so that it helps your channel as well. film a video about it, and then send it to me to do a react to. Because I like having the content, don't get me wrong, and I like being able to highlight veteran stories. But Eric, I want to help your channel get bigger, um, because you have a unique fight that people need to hear about, and I want to make sure that I am helping your platform, uh, because uh, it's good that I help veterans with their stories, and I help get attention to the problems that they have. But I want veterans to also have their own platforms, and you have a platform, and I want it to grow. So let me know what you think about that. If that's amenable to where you film a video and send it to me, and I'll do a react video. I'll do it on a live. So then you still get the benefit of my audience, but you also get the benefit of hopefully bring more people to your channel. Yeah, this stuff is cooking really nice. So I don't think I'll be out here much too longer, and it's a good thing because the sun's going down. Whew. It's not as hot as what it was. It'll warm up again though. I already know. That's all this scrap wood that I got, getting rid of it all. I can grab one of these little twigs and stuff that I have around here. Get them in there. This is so dry out here in the desert, it burns right up. We'll do is already planning a video about it. Excellent. I'm glad that that works for you, because I've been thinking about, yeah, I do want to put people on the channel. I do want to help their stories, but you know, at the end of the day, I have to wonder, am I helping them or am I just helping me? So doing it this way, I think everybody's benefiting, and that's what I like. Win, win, win. Yeah, this thing it's going. It is going. I'm gonna sit over here in the go-kart. Ooh, my back's been killing me. I pulled a muscle in my lower back, and when that happens, it goes all the way down my left leg, like even to where like I'll get numbness in my foot. And being driving yesterday, all those hours just made it worse. Just made it worse. Uh, and I'm gonna be doing stuff around here, so I'm sure it's gonna be hurting for me this week. Yeah, this stuff is burning. I'm feeling it's getting hot again. Ooh, coyotes will be out soon. That's I worry about them. I don't like them coming onto my property. I've had some come close. Since I've been here, I haven't seen one actually come on my property, but they've come up to the driveway, and that's too close for comfort for me. So that's why I want to get some gates built. Uh, this fence, I don't know what the hell they did to this fence. I can tell you this: they didn't put it in correctly, because the spaces in between the poles are way too big. So this fence, it's just collapsing. But it's good enough for now. I will eventually replace it. It's just going to be expensive. Uh, so we'll see what I do about that. But we'll see if my masonry skills are good. I got a feeling it'll be a lot of work to kind of build what I want to build with a stone wall. So those are the homestead updates. And what's good about when this is gone, once I get that stump out of there, all those ashes and everything, the hole that's left, those will all go back right into it. And hopefully I can find myself an orange or grapefruit tree, or maybe even avocado or something to put in there. And they will grow really well out here in the desert. They get plenty of sunshine and water, and I can give it water. Uh, oh, it involves the DAV. Okay, okay. I don't have a lot of experience with the DAV. Um, an olive tree, yeah, that's a good idea. There's a type of desert grape that grows that I would like to plant. I would like to get some of those vines and grow them. From what I understand, they tend to grow along along the ground. Especially if I do build a stone wall, I want them to go up the stone wall. But then I can have some desert grapes, and also it'll bring a lot of birds around here. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's going. It is going. That thing was so big when I started. It was probably like that stump was. It was probably about 3 feet around when I started this. Here, I'll show you the other ones. These other ones are not as big. Not as big. So got that one there. That one's got some growth, but I'm still getting it out of here. Uh, but yeah, I got those. And then I got this one over here. And I got a dead cactus right there. And when you travel or you sell your property, no. Well, yes and no. Okay. So me and another gentleman have a business. And what I think I'm going to do is, because I have the VA home loan, I will sell this to my business and buy another property. So that way I get out, because the way the VA home loan works is they approve you to whatever amount, and you can buy, up to that. But if you buy lower, you have the rest to use for a house. Well, if my business buys this property and takes it out of my name, I get that full amount yet. And then uh, what I'm looking at doing is renting this out, because this base, which you can see the lights of the base over there, this base is going to keep growing for another 10 years. It's the only Marine Corps base I can absolutely guarantee will grow in 10 years. So, we are going to make this a rental property, and it's a nice little home for a young Marine, um, an E3 or an E4 to start a family in. So we'll rent it out to a military family is kind of what we're thinking. And then you know I'll buy another place, pay it down, and we'll just rinse and repeat. And we've debated about different things we're doing for our business, and we just haven't settled on anything. We've thrown a lot of stuff around, um, but that'll be a good way for our business to get some assets. I'm only VA home loan guarantee for 30K. You know what? You can get a plot of land for 30K. You can. Um, I was considering buying. There's land out here like 5 to 10 acres for 20,000. I almost bought one of those and built a barn dominium on it. My neighbor's dog. So I was considering doing that. Like I've said on other streams, the VA home loan is the absolute best way for military members to create wealth. It's one of the best things that we have going for us. Um, oh, I got a hummingbird, and he just took off. But yeah, it's one of the greatest ways for veterans to gain wealth. Look at this thing; it is going. It is going all right down there in the middle. It is hot. Um, but yeah, so that we were talking about all the benefits of me being, a veteran, and what are the ways to leverage that to, um, you know, just make our business better. And that's where this idea kind of stemmed from. Um, Obviously, it only works for residential homes. Can't do it for commercial property. Um, but we were like, yeah, this is a solid plan that I've known several uh, people in the military who did it. Now, when I was married, my ex was too risk adverse. She didn't even want to buy out here, and I don't think she's ever going to leave here. But she was way too risk adverse to do anything. The original VA home loan was a loan. Now it's just a guarantee, which is just a paper. True, but it is. Yeah, it's essentially insurance, is what it is. Because if you default on the loan, the lender gets their money back. Um, my phone is going to die. I'm at 10%, so just FYI, I'll be leaving here in a few minutes. So everyone, please smash the like button while you're here. Um, but yeah, it is. But I mean, it's not really a bad thing. It's a great benefit. I think every veteran should take advantage of it. Uh, Many lenders are adverse to the paper. Actually, what I've discovered, uh, and my brother's a realtor. Um, the lenders aren't the problem. The problem is the sellers. So the sellers, um, they don't want to sell to someone with the VA home loan because of the inspections. Uh, the the VA requires a lot of inspections, and like when I bought this house, we identified about 10 grand in things that it was failing inspection for, and the seller didn't want to. Um, they didn't want to make any of the corrections. Um, so um, what we were able to do was then negotiate, and I got points back uh, on the sale of the house, so that I didn't have to, go out of pocket for those costs that you know, the VA was saying, the VA inspector was saying, these things need to be corrected. The good thing is, while I thought it was going to cost me $10,000, it only cost me about two and a half. And a lot of that was because I was expecting to need a new electrical panel, because the one that they had was not really a residential panel, and it was completely full. And I mean, I was popping breakers. But the reason why that was is because whoever the handyman that they had because they did renovate this, so their handyman, when they renovated this, they weren't an electrician, and they were just doing things by the seat of their pants. And I brought in an actual electrician, and we went and we looked at everything. I wish my brother would have been out here because he's an electrician. Um, but my brother was like, here's what he identified. When the electrician came out, I said, okay, here's what my brother was able to identify over FaceTime. And he was like, okay, yeah, I see exactly what he's saying. And but then we really got into it, and he's like, oh no, here's what this is hooked up to, and then here's what this is hooked up to. And it was all stuff that I was like, no, I don't want that, I don't need that. And we were able to clear it all out. I paid for a new panel to be put in, but we didn't have to tear out it didn't, so I didn't have to put in a sub panel. We just replaced the panel that it was, because it wasn't a residential panel. Um, but so we were able to do that, and it was fairly cheap, couple $1,000, and we were done. I think when I added it all up, yeah, $2,500, like 2,000 in labor and only like 500 in parts. And yep, it was all done. And that was the big stuff. Now I'm working on all the nice to haves. And I thought, like, some of this stuff I thought was going to take me years to get to. But nope, I'm getting to it now. So it all works. But that's where I find the problem with the VA is the sellers don't want to deal with it, um, because they don't want to deal with the inspections. They know that there's things wrong with the home, and but I mean, you can get the VA will sign off on some pretty crazy stuff. I've seen some old homesteads where it's just a concrete slab, but because it's got a septic tank, the VA's like, yeah, we'll guarantee this property being sold. And then, the people that were buying it just had to build a house on the slab. And yeah, done deal. Done deal. There's some deals still out here. But I was looking at the market here. The market is here, it's a good market for the next 10 years. So that's my plan. I'll probably be a landowner out here for 10 years. Um, and then reevaluate and see what else is going. I actually might be going up to another area. We're talking about going up to Victorville, California, to buy some property up there. So here you go. For some of you who don't know, everyone knows about the bullet train that California is putting in, and that's going from. I'm gonna start kicking sand on this because I'm gonna go inside because this needs charged. So everyone knows about the bullet train going from LA to San Francisco. It's not going from LA to San Francisco. They lied, but they know about that. It's actually going to go from Bakersfield up to, I think it's either Merced or Modesto. I always forget the two M cities right next to each other. Um, but yeah, so they uh, everyone knows about that bullet train, but there's one that's going from Victorville and eventually from Lancaster to Vegas. And here's the thing about that, it's a private company doing it. And they're doing it just along I-15's corridor. So it's literally going to be right there along the. Don't know what that was. So it's going to be right there along the I-15 corridor. And that's going to be a bullet train. So you will be able to. Oh, and Elon Musk, everyone knows he's doing the Boring Company there in Vegas, and he's building that underground loop in Vegas. Well, this is going to be tied into that. He also, his Boring Company is, they're digging right now from Rancho Cucamonga up to Victorville. So if you're in the LA area, you'll be able to go to Rancho Cucamonga, Ontario area, hop into a Tesla, which is going to drive you through a tunnel under the mountain, bring you out in Victorville, where you then get out and hop on the bullet train, get up to Vegas and hop back into a Tesla. Like, you don't have to drive that whole way. Now, granted, this is like, probably like 5-10 years down the road, but Victorville is going to be that first stop. So we are identifying Victorville as an up and coming community to purchase in and to invest in. Yeah, I grabbed all my stuff. It's going to be dark here. So that's what we've identified, and we're looking at what we can do to make money off of that, because that's exactly what Elon Musk is doing. He just saw that and said, "Hey, that's something I can, I can make money off that as well." So that's what he's doing, and that's what we're talking about. Like, okay, what it's all coming down to how and where do we put our money for this. So I'm of the mind, let's put our money into residential property, because if you can take an hour-long bullet train from Victorville, California, and go to Vegas, that means you can buy a really nice house for very cheap on the edge of Victorville, and you have an hour-long commute to a job in Vegas, and you're not driving the whole time. You're just sitting on your phone. Hold on, let me get all the lights and stuff on in here. Turn on my computer. So, yeah, that's what we're debating, and it's how do we turn that into money, and that's the question. So that's where we're at with everything, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out if what it is we want to do with it. I can't get all my lights on, but I got my phone turned or plugged in now, so it's not going to die. Uh, that heat, got it in my throat, got cooled down. So that's the type of things I look for. Where is there opportunity? For me, I can get to Victorville in about an hour, 45 minutes, roughly, depending on how fast I go. Corey West. I see Corey West. Welcome. Yeah, I can get to Victorville in 45 minutes. And come on, cat. So getting there in 45 minutes and then taking an hour-long bullet train to Vegas means my commute to Vegas just went from about 3.5 hours down to an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. I can live with that. I definitely can live with that. I mean, that's what it takes me to drive into LA without traffic. And with this, you're not dealing with any traffic. I got I got the dog wanting attention. I got the cat wanting attention. I'm a popular guy right now. Hi. Yeah. Do you want to say hello to all the people? Yeah. You want to say what a good girl you were today at work? How you were super dog? Yeah. How about you, conspiracy kitty? You want to talk about any conspiracies? I don't have the soundboard up. Can't. So you'll have to listen to the X-Files song. Yeah. Glory wants me to lay down. That's what she does when we come home. She wants me to lay down and cuddle with her. Yeah, say you're the cuddle dog. But I can't tonight. We got stuff we gotta do tonight. We're knocking stuff off our list though. We got the stump burned out. So anything you guys want to talk to? I don't think my phone's gonna die now. So any topics? I covered all the stuff I wanted to. I like it when I get through all the prepared stuff and then it kind of becomes free for all. People have questions. Um, this cat, he's trying to rub up against my phone. You coming here? What are you doing? What are you doing, kitty? I heard you crying in here. What were you? Could you just hear me outside talking? Ah. Whenever I pet the cat, the dog has to come over and get love. Don't you? And why are you biting me, mister? Why are you biting me? Did you tell everybody that you have your own Twitter account now? So, no questions here. No worries. No worries. We can talk about anything. So, if anyone is watching who's on Twitter, you can now follow Kang, the conspiracy kitty. Um, First thing my hubby says when he gets home is to the dog, "You want to snuggle?" That is this dog right here. She loves to cuddle, don't you? And we actually have a command. I can say closer, and she'll come up and nuzzle me. Because a lot of the stuff that she's to help me for is like if I have insomnia. Uh, she'll if I have a nightmare, she'll come up, cuddle with me, and I get back to sleep. In fact, it works so well. I had a nightmare. Look at the cat. He's eating. Hey, moron. You're eating my toilet paper and it's not even out of the bag. Hey, what are you doing? He's like, I don't care about you. Um, so, yeah, I had a nightmare the other night that was, I can't explain it any other way than demonic. Like, and there was no rhyme or reason to it. It was just flashes and images of demonic pictures. Best way I can describe it. And I woke up, and years ago, when I was first in, working on my PTSD, that would have kept me up all night. I would not have been able to go back to sleep. Uh, it's why I stopped watching horror movies. Uh, Other than like first thing in the morning, if I watch a horror movie at night for the longest time, I couldn't go back to sleep. Like, I'd wake up from a nightmare and would not be able to go back to sleep. Um, but yeah, like I had this one, and Glory was under the bed, and I called her up. She came up, laid down next to me, put my arms around her, and right back to sleep. So, I get a lot of veterans who I get that you get the insomnia. I understand that you have nightmares, or just even if you have things that are on your mind. Um, Feel free to reach out to me, and I can help get you a service dog, and they do help. Had one like that full of images as a kid. Yeah, I hadn't had nightmares for the longest time until like towards the end of my service. The last couple of years, I started getting nightmares, and it did start with my time in Afghanistan. The recurring one that I had when it's from a time when I was at Bagram Air Force Base, and we had been waiting for a flight, and we'd been sitting there for like 4 hours, because that's what they do in the military. They hurry up and wait, and it's not an airport like the airports we go to. It's like steel chairs. They're not comfortable, and everybody just waiting around to get their flight. I'm my wife's service dog slash human. Hey, as long as you do the job. But yeah, so I was sitting there, and we finally got our flight, C-130 out of Bagram. They tell us, grab all your stuff, follow this line. We follow it. They get us onto the plane. We get in, we drop all of our stuff. We get buckled in. We're waiting to taxi, and the air raids, the IDF sirens start going, and the crew chief comes over. He's like, "Grab all your crap, get out now!" And like, I mean, some of us have like full packs. I'm talking like 200 pounds worth of stuff, and now we've got to run full speed into the IDF bunker. So we run in there. I only had like I had just like two small bags, so I was actually helping people who were struggling with their stuff. And we get in the IDF bunker, and we're sitting there, um, waiting for the all clear. You hear some sounds, you don't know if it's actually like IDF hitting or not, but so we're in there for like 20 minutes, and then they give the all clear, and they tell us, okay, grab your stuff and get back on the bird again. So we do, and we get all our stuff, we get settled down, we get plugged in, it starts to move, and we go down to the end of the runway, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And I'm noticing everybody's looking at me, and it's because I'm the only officer on the plane of all the passengers. All the rest are all enlisted, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And I mean, I can see people getting scared. We're at the end of the runway. We're to the open. If IDF starts hitting us again, we're sitting ducks, and people are starting to get nervous. And they're looking at me. They're all looking at me, because they're going to look at the leadership and be like, okay, is I was a lieutenant then. Is the lieutenant freaking out? Because if I started freaking out, I knew they would start freaking out. So I had one of the iPad or iPod shuffles. I had one of those with all my songs on it, and I remember thinking to myself, Okay, here's what I need to do. I'm just gonna put this on. I'm gonna put this on. Whatever song plays, I'm just gonna close my eyes and not move until that song is done. And I couldn't even tell you what song it was because I was not focusing on the song at all. I was just waiting. The cat keeps rubbing up next to my phone. He wants love, so yeah, I have to keep moving the phone around because he's rubbed his head on my hand as it holds the phone. Um, I couldn't even tell you what song it was, but when it ended, I opened my eyes. People were still looking at me, but they were a little bit like the fear was not as prevalent in their faces. So I did another song, and I remember I kind of like kicked my head back to show I was relaxing a bit, right? And again, I I was scared because there's nothing you can do. Everything is completely out of your hands. Had IDF hit, there was nothing we could have done. So that those thoughts go through your mind. So I was like, okay, one more song. I don't care what song it is. Again, wasn't paying attention to the song. Just I was like, just keep calm, everything until this song is finished. So song ends. I open my eyes and kind of bring up my head, and everybody's just a little bit calmer. And I was like, okay, by me showing that I'm calm in this situation, even though in my head I'm not, my mind's going 90 miles an hour, um, they are, calm. And I tell that because that's the nightmare that I was getting. That's like the one recurring nightmare I was getting for the longest time, where I would be sitting on that tarmac in that C-130 and we're not moving at all. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm going more and more stir crazy. And that's the nightmare. That's the nightmare that I was getting the most. I get others, but sorry, this cat's hair is all stuck on my face and my stubble. Like I can see it. Ugh, cat, you need brushed. Whoever's told me that cats were clean was a liar. Cats are this cat. You are one of the filthiest animals I've ever had. Do you know that? You filthy animal. That's why I should have named you. You should have been called the filthy animal. Instead, you're the conspiracy kitty. Look, look. I have to wash my face now because of you. Because of you, Mister. He doesn't care. There's no cat hair. It's just a conspiracy, right? It literally feels like I was just grooming him, but it's all sticking to my face because I didn't shave. Hello from Washington State. What part of Washington State? Because I've been up to Bellingham and Whidbey Island. Uh, I did do a stop off in Seattle. Had to, because if you're that close, you might as well. Um, I am ordering. So I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move these. I'm ordering a world map and a United States map. And as you all come into the streams and subscribe and everything, and if you tell me where you're at, I'm going to then put pins on it so I can keep track of where everyone is. Eric is a funny guy. Most veterans are hilarious people. If you know a veteran, just sit and start asking them what the funniest things that they dealt with were. You better not got any of your hair in my juice, mister. You're laying on all of my tax documents because I was doing taxes the other day. I'm still not done with taxes. I've been literally doing these taxes for 3 weeks. And it's all because, oh, I'm waiting for this to come. And I'm waiting, oh, this didn't come. So I'm calling all these people. I'm like, hey, I need this. Oh, that should have been mailed to you. I'm like, well, yeah, it didn't come. Static is fun. Western near Olympia, small town north of Olympia. Okay, very cool. I did not get to Olympia. Who knows? I'm not, I'm just what, an hour plane ride away. So, well, actually, no, longer than that. Probably like 2 hours. Hello from Indiana. I love cats. Um, what part of Indiana? Because we just had a guy. He was in yesterday's stream that was from, what was a small town? It was just north of Indianapolis. And all the time I spent in Indiana, for the most part, was on the eastern side. Muncie, Fort Wayne, South Bend. Lee. I lived briefly out of Aberdeen, Washington. Um, you know, maybe one day I'll head up to Whidbey Island, Lafayette. Okay, okay. Um, I had some friends who went to school out that way. Um, but yeah, maybe I'll head up to Washington, see if there's any jobs or anything up there that I might want to do. Because Whidbey was a beautiful, beautiful island. And that state park that's right there, it's got this huge bridge that gets all backed up, but you can walk across that bridge and look, and it's at least a 250-foot drop. I graduated from Ho- Hoquiam High School. Joaquin Hoquiam High School? I don't know how to pronounce that. Purdue County. Yep. Or as us Buckeye fans would, we always used to say Purdue. Some Big Ten humor. A lot more than an hour to get there. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I left from Palm Springs and flew up to Bellingham, and yeah, it was about 2 hours. Now that I think about it, been all over the place. I'm familiar with Hoquiam. I'm, if I'm if I'm butchering it, just forgive me. I I'm used to butchering names because Hoquiam. Okay, so I said it the last time I said it correctly. Hoquiam. Um, yeah, I grew up around a bunch of an area where it was like second generation Polish immigrants, and oh my God, some of those names, just a neighbor of Aberdeen. Uh, I meant for you to get over here in New Zealand. You know, I do need to get to New Zealand. I do want to go there. Um, I was I was just talking with somebody about if I were to, because they're recalling people, and I'm in that zone. They could recall me back to the Marine Corps, and if they do, I'm gonna go to them and say, send me to Okinawa if you can, if I have any choice in that. There are situations where they will recall you and you can. And I only want to do Okinawa because I can visit so many places that right now would be difficult for me to visit. You know, I can get to Australia, I can get to the Philippines, I can get to Vietnam, Thailand. Um, I had a friend of mine when I was in Dubai. He wanted me to go to uh, Myanmar with him. And I was like, why do you want to go to Myanmar? And he's like, you know, all those temples and everything in Vietnam and Thailand? I'm like, yeah. He goes, in Myanmar, they've been at war for so many years. They're still in the jungle. It's like you're Indiana Jones. Like you have to cut your way through the jungle. So you're gonna see it the way it's been for the last 100 years. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So which he and we both liked adventure. So he was making a pretty good case to me. I'm past recall time. Uh, Back will prevent that for forever now. Um, Here's the only thing I'll say: don't be too sure. I got a bad back, and I would not be surprised. I've seen some people here recently who were 8 years removed, and they're recalling people. This is how they're gonna deal with their recruit shortage, uh, because they're doing such a bad job being able to recruit people. Um, they're gonna start recalling us, because they don't want to bring back the draft. That would be very unpopular. Um, we are in a continent called Zealandia. Is that what they're trying to call it? Is that what they're calling it? Zealandia? Um, oh, you're 20 years removed. Okay, well, yeah. See, I'm 44, and I can. The other thing is, I've got 17 years under my belt, so they'll take me and be like, well, because they know if they get me for a year, they're probably going to get me for 3. That's what they'll do. I know their tricks. When stop loss stop move was in effect from 2002 to 2005, I worked for a while in the G1 doing those packages, so I know the discussions that they have, and I know like what their what their thought process is. They will absolutely grab a guy like me and be like, "Oh, well, don't you want to stick around?" Because that's that means they're not just meeting their mission for a year. It means they're gonna be easy. It's gonna be easier to meet their mission for the next 3 years. Um, Seems there's a lot of land connected to New Zealand, which means we are now our own continent. Maybe you should start building your own islands. That's what they do in Dubai. It's honestly what I think we should start doing. They want to keep doing the dikes and everything down in Louisiana, which is, you know, fairly dumb. But I think, okay, well, if you're going to do that, start building islands and make it a wildlife preserve. So the wildlife that we've kind of pushed out, now we're building something for them to come back, and mainly the pelicans and flamingos and whatnot. But then that rebuild that barrier for the hurricanes, so that the force dims down. Sometimes can't tell things posted to you. Okay, okay, yeah, it's hard in the written word to figure out what people are saying some days. Mm. Ah, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this. If you were here, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe wherever you're watching. Because I just realized it's 7:30 right now. I got a couple things I got to get done before my night ends. But I appreciate you all being here. Glad to have talked with you. Uh, I will probably do a live tomorrow as well, but I'll definitely have one this weekend. But yeah, thanks for joining me. And as always, thank you for being worth serving. Oh, and happy birthday.